Hello and welcome to the Lunchbox reviews. We are doing Hawkeye episode 3 titled Echoes. As usual, I'm joined by the Lunchbox's Tracksuit Mafia, Alex.
Hello.
And Michelle.
Hello.
And if you're new to the channel and you like our content, please give us a like and subscribe. And if you make a comment in one of our videos, you are automatically entered to join our 1K giveaway, where we'll be giving away a Daredevil mini bust, because seems like there's some Daredevil-y things happening around here. We're ready to talk about it. Before we go to any spoilers, what are your initial thoughts, your thoughts on the episode?
I'm gonna be quick. It was the best episode yet. The action hit a level that I really enjoyed. It's a lot better than the previous two episodes because you had like a lot of hand-to-hand choreography in the first act, the beginning portion there, and then in the middle you had your superhero-y stuff starring the Hawkeyes, and that was really neat. And the only other thing is the Echo story was really touching. And there was a moment in it that gave me a few goosebumps because I wasn't expecting to hear a certain something. Go figure with the deaf character, but yeah.
Echoing the same things as Alex. The action was really good. It was fun to see the superhero stuff in this world because it was like a fun way to do it without going super spoilery into it. We saw a lot of it in the trailer, but it was a really fun sequence and it lived up to the expectations I had based on the trailer. And there's one scene that I won't spoil yet that has the most heart of any moment, I think, so far in the shows. It was just like, there was this one moment that was so touching, so cute, and I'm going to be thinking about it for a very long time. It was really beautiful and really cute. So I'm excited to spoil it and talk about that because that was so good. But I really like this episode. The best one so far, which is really like saying something because I really enjoyed the first two episodes. It's just like a upward climb for me right now, and I'm really happy with it.
Agreed with Alex and agreed with Michelle. This episode is, like you guys, is my favorite of the three. It's moving the series nicely. I love the nice introduction to Echo. We got a nice hero to hero conversation with Clint and Kate, and very spectacular action scenes, which was lacking in the first two episodes. So we are ready to spoil it. I'm gonna take a deep breath for my overview. And this is spoilers, by the way, so you know what to do. All right, so Act 1. We start off the episode seeing a young Maya. We see her in school. We get a nice tender moment with her and her dad. Talk about Dragon. Maybe that means something, maybe it doesn't. And it's really cool that early on we learn about her disabilities, including her leg. And then later on, we see her train martial arts, and her dad taught her to use her quickness and speed to take advantage of her usually bigger opponents. And we also get a glimpse of Uncle. Well, I guess we'll talk about that later, but yeah, gonna be interesting. So then we cut to an older version. She's Maya's in the gym, sparring, winning, kicking ass, of course. And then she leaves the gym to, I guess, kind of like their warehouse, where the Tracksuit Mafia is, where she witnesses Ronin killing pretty much everybody, including her father. And so yeah, let's talk about it. Act 1.
I mean, once again, we see a villainous character with a very like sympathetic backstory. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Falcon Winter Soldier before like that all went off the rails. Where there is like this villainous character who you can kind of understand like where they're coming from, what they're doing. Because now that we see why she's like so upset by Ronin, we're attached to the fact that it was her dad. Like that is in all intents and purposes, she probably doesn't see herself necessarily as the villain in this case because Ronan killed her dad. I'm sorry, that's pretty like that's evil. That was an evil act that he committed. Looking at you, Hawkeye, that was evil. So I just thought it was really interesting that they just really set it up like that so we can kind of see this interesting back and forth between like knowing that Ronan Hawkeye is a hero and she's a victim of him. Like, what does that mean? I'm just really excited to see them kind of have to deal with that because obviously, like, at some point, everyone's going to have to know that it was Hawkeye because she's not really buying the whole Ronan died and Black Widow killed him and Black Widow's also dead, so no one can verify this. Like, that just, you know, she's not going to let that stand. So it'll be interesting to see her character progression.
Yeah, I was going to say that Clint could have just said that Black Widow was Ronan, and then that's it. It's like, yeah.
He would never, though. Like,
why not, though?
She's discredit her name like that.
Wow, she did enough of that in her KGB days, you know. So as far as everyone knows, you know, she did some pretty dark stuff. But you know, it would be the easy way to just, you know, wipe your hands clean, and like that's why he pursued the person wearing the costume because he was thinking, it's like, how could Natasha be back? You know, and then she finds out that it's Kate Bishop, and there's no way it could be Kate Bishop 5 years ago because 5 years ago Kate was, you know, exactly. But that aside, yeah, it was touching. At the same time, Clint was killing bad guys, and like Echo's father was certainly a bad guy. All those people were bad guys. They're criminals, and I'm not advocating vigilantism, but you know. Maya, perhaps your father shouldn't have been, you know, crime.
Shouldn't have been working with Uncle.
Yeah, I was tiptoeing around that one, but yeah. No, it was cool. It was a cool intro. I wanted to ask both of you, did you get the impression that Maya has like powers, kind of like Taskmaster, where she can copy other people's moves?
Yeah, absolutely. The way she was just looking at everything and observing kind of just, it reminded me of like her abilities in the comics.
Right.
I don't know if Michelle was familiar, but I was sort of familiar with that. So I was thinking that the same thing, like she had sort of those abilities.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. My brain went to, this is not the same, but similar enough in my brain. It went to Toph from Avatar, where like having, like for Toph, she's blind. That's like her disability, but because of that, her other senses are heightened, so she's like super awesome. That was kind of what my brain went to. I was like, oh, okay. She like, I don't know, isn't distracted by hearing things. She can just like take it all in. She knows how to like, I don't know, pay attention to more because she has to. She's had to just live that way. So her awareness is higher than other people. That was just kind of what my thought process was. But honestly, like it equates to the same outcome. So it doesn't, yeah.
Right. No, I was wondering if it was explicit or not. Like if she actually had those abilities, or she was just capable, because I having read the comics, I suppose like I was looking for something. Like she had the bow and arrow. I thought she was going to be able to pop off some, you know, trick shots like Hawkeye, but they never really went there as of yet. But yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, for me, this was pretty cool. I really like her introduction, and I mean, the writers did a good job. And I mean, in like her 10-minute thing in this episode, and I already knew what I needed to know about Maya, which is really cool. As for like the Ronin scene, I don't know, we're going through these theories again, but just looking at it and the way it was just shot, where they explicitly didn't show the eyes, got me thinking that this probably wasn't Clint. I think there was another Ronin before Clint, and right now maybe I'm thinking it could be Jack because he really wanted the sword. It couldn't be, maybe it's Jack, maybe it's not, but I have a feeling that Ronin wasn't Clint. Did you guys kind of just have that feeling that was Clint already, or you were having second thoughts on it?
No, I definitely thought it was Clint because he was familiar with them, and like even his wife knew about his history with them. So like he does have history with like the tracksuit mafia. So it was just part of what you know, what Clint was up to during the snap.
Makes sense, yeah. All right, so let's move on to the second act. This is where we see Clint and Kate being held hostage by the tracksuit mafia. They're tied to these little horsey things moving around. Maya comes in to try to get more information about Ronan. Of course, they tiptoe around it. Clint escapes, and we finally get some good action. Clint and Maya have a nice confrontation. It was a cool fight scene. It's where he also loses his hearing aid. Kate joins in the fun, beats up the dollar store version of Dane Whitman because he looks like Kit Harington.
That's exactly what I said. Poor man's Jon Snow.
We also get this. This is my favorite shot of the episode. Is the rotating shot inside the car. That was really cool.
Yeah.
We got a lot of trick arrows. Finally, this is Hawkeye. I can't believe after all these years of the MCU, this is the most trick arrows I've seen, and I love it. And after the chase, Clint and Kate finally escape via the subway. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Ooh, okay. So I loved it. I loved the action sequence. I absolutely adored it. When I'd seen some of the trick arrow like references in the trailer, I was a little bit worried that it would be too silly almost, and that it wouldn't feel like the stakes were high. I don't know. I was picturing like a punching boxing glove arrow and just like silliness, you know what I mean? Those types of things. And then I thought they towed the line really well between what were sillier arrows.
Yeah, for sure.
That still made sense that he would have them like functionality wise. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You could do these things, da da da. And then you have like full explosive arrows. Like the Pym arrow was sick. That moment when I realized what it was, I was so excited. Like it's just like you're like Pym. Oh, and then as it's going, you're kind of like, I don't know, in my brain, I'm like, oh my god, and then it happened. I was like, this is so cool. It was so fun. That shot, Lou, same thing. I was watching it and I was like, Lou's gonna mention this. I also loved it. I thought that was it felt really immersive. I'm like I'm in the car with them, like I'm really involved in the action. And that felt really cool. Like I really, really enjoyed that. There wasn't a single part in the action sequence that I didn't like, that I wasn't glued to, honestly. It was so fun. And then, yeah, I have a secondary thought, but we'll come back to it.
Yeah, the action in the warehouse really reminded me of like a Jackie Chan set piece. Like all it was missing was like a ladder or something. But it
like
was,
the way he climbed on the cabins.
Yes,
and
it was
jump
so
through
cool.
the thing.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, the trick arrow stuff was so much fun. I gasped at the Pym thing because it just turned into a huge javelin, and it was it was definitely everything you want to see from like something Hawkeye related. And yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Michelle, you want to mention your secondary thought before I go on mine? It's because I'm just agreeing with most of y'all, but I just have a couple of points that I wanted to add.
Okay, my secondary thought kind of goes into the next scene a little bit, so I'll just do that. So the thing that when the action sequence started made me slightly nervous for a moment was the moment of breaking of his hearing aid. I was worried it would get silly with the like lack of communication between them. First of all, the moment his hearing aids get broken and he's hand-to-hand fighting Maya, it's a really quiet fight, and I thought that was really interesting the way they did that.
And the music, the way the music too.
Yeah, it was really that was so well handled. So you're still like aware of the fact that these characters are fighting this way, like the way they fight has to be different. They can't hear certain cues. Awesome. Then we get to the sequence in the car with the arrows, and they're having this trouble communicating between Kate and Clint. That made me, I was a little like nervous that it would get too silly, kind of, making fun of it almost. Yeah. And it got to this point where I'm like, okay, I don't know. They had their little sequence on the subway where it was very silly and very cute. And then we move into the Act 3 starting scene. And that just like brought all that to a point of just, it was so beautiful. So it made everything that I was a little uneasy with in the action sequence like feel really awesome. So when we talk about that scene, I'll kind of continue. But that's that.
I just want to mention that the whole hard of hearing thing and Clint repeating what Kate is saying, that whole thing, it's Clint echoing what Kate is thinking and saying, which is the name of the episode, the name of the bad guy. Yeah, that's it. That's what I get paid for.
So yeah, again, pretty much we're all on the same page on this episode. I really love the action scenes. I can't gush enough about that. The rotating camera, which is not it's similar to like my favorite action shot in Loki, where there's that one scene in the planet where the camera just kept following them. I really like that. Yeah, and then they show that Clint, is a normal human being, and he gets his ass kicked like all other normal human beings. He's, I guess, an above average athlete, but you can kind of feel his pain, what he's going through, because unlike his other friends, he's just a normal human being. So and also the subway scene, the it was a really sweet and funny scene that they were just kind of, like Alex said, echoing each other's thoughts. So yeah, let us move on. So after the subway scene, they are at Kate's aunt's apartment. We get a nice moment of Kate being Clint's ears as he talks to his son about like missing some stuff they were planning to do for Christmas. Meanwhile, back at the warehouse, Maya is asking, I think his name is Kazi, dollar store Dane Whitman, to find out more information about Clint because she's starting to put things together. So Kate and Clint get his hearing aid fix and they grab breakfast where Clint tells Kate that about the sacrifices and like what you need to be to become the hero that she wants, because she wants to be a hero, and there's just a really nice heart to heart there. And Pizza Dog is officially born. The dog is named. And then they go to Kate's mom's house to use a computer database to find more about the Tracksuit Mafia and Jack. And as Clint was just checking the perimeter, or the house, Jack appears with the Ronin sword and just kind of, who are you, to Clint's neck. So yeah, let's talk about this.
So I'll go first because I'm dying to talk about the scene with Clint and his son on the phone. It was such a highlight scene for me. It was so, I don't know, it was so authentic feeling and amazingly acted between all parties involved. And it just felt so real after this like outrageous action scene. It just like we talked about like our last review, it brought everything grounded again. It was like, these are humans, this is their interactions. And again, it reinforced his character of this family man and how he's handling things. That scene, so it was just amazing. Like I could gush about it literally forever. It just felt so, I don't know, I was just like smiling and also a little emotional the entire time. I just thought it was gorgeous, beautiful, brilliant, amazing. Don't change a thing. And then we move into the hero heart to heart, which kind of like, it just again cements his character, his motivations, why he is the way he is. It's just giving us that like continuous like explanation and expansion on Clint, and I just think that's amazing. And it's good to see his character just actually express things because he's not super chatty. So it's nice to hear him from his exact mouth saying why he does what he does and what his thought process is behind certain things. And I thought that was great.
They're really setting up the reunion of the family, which might not happen, sadly. That you mentioned that scene, Michelle. Yeah, it was like, oh, he has to, but yeah, it's a Disney show, it's a Christmas show. Yeah, he's got to see his family at the end. But what if?
That reminds me. Sorry, can I just say one thing because you said that? Yes. Did anyone else clock that USB dongle arrow from What If?
Oh,
her USB arrow.
Yes.
She's like, what am I supposed to do? And the guy just bounces off him.
I actually really laughed at that scene.
Yeah,
because one of the way the other Russian tracksuit mafia guy distracted is like, ah!
Yeah, it's great. You said what if, and I had to. There you go. That was the first time we've seen a what if thing in a real thing. There you go.
You ever think like how difficult it is to insert a USB just with your hand? Imagine with an arrow. Dear Lord.
I have
Like, you
trouble with
can't.
love
How do
trying
you
to
take it
figure
out
out
and put
which
it
side
back?
goes on.
Like the ring? I don't know. I don't know.
No. But no, I don't have much more to say. Michelle covered it succinctly. Yeah, it was touching in all the right points. The cliffhanger did come out of nowhere. It's like, oh, that's it. That's all this episode has. Because I was just, I was really into it. I was immersed in this episode. So it was a bummer that it ended.
And yeah, looks like this episode, oh, we are all on the same page, as I agree with whatever you guys have just said. I thought the heart to heart was really cool, and for the first time, I'm kind of liking. Okay, it's not like I hate Hawkeye. It's just that I don't really care about his character. But with the first 3 episodes and this episode especially, I'm kind of sad that he has to go through all this, and then he has like a whole family waiting for him. And even though he was kind of reluctant to just help Kate, it's still in his nature to help him, and even telling him like this is the things that you're gonna lose, the sacrifice you have to make to become this person that you really want to be. So yeah, and it was like, Alex, I really wanted this episode to be longer. Like, I wish we didn't end with a sword, but that's it. So
I
yeah.
have one question about that final sequence, and I don't know if it's just me being picky. When she's going to the computer to search them up, how does she know how the heck to spell his last name?
Whose last name? I can't remember.
Kazi's.
Oh yeah,
She typed in Kazi and then his whole last name immediately. At no point did they mention his last name, and it's like,
you know what? I never thought of that.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
I paused for a moment just because I was like, he has a sizable last name that I truly don't know how to pronounce. So I was like, how did she just know that randomly? Like, because they never mentioned it. I just thought I was like, no, you can't just. I'm sure there's other Kazis out there. It's not like he's the only one. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just throw Kazi and auto fills that last name. Like, get out of here. So,
see, what I was thinking about, like, was before they got there, like in the taxi, how they're just like openly talking about it, and like there's a taxi driver there. Like, I know he's just a random taxi driver, but he could still kind of tell people. So yeah,
imagine being a taxi driver, like in there, just like
all the secrets,
hearing the random conversations that are happening. You're just like, are you an Avenger? Is that a bad guy? What's happening?
So we are going to this new part of our reviews. We're gonna call it, for now, the big question. So every episode there's gonna be like a big question, and we're gonna try to answer it or theorize what it's gonna be. And this episode's big question is, who is Uncle? It's either really obvious or it's not. So what are your thoughts of who Uncle is?
Mephisto.
Yes.
I said it first. All right. I knew someone would say that. Yeah. I think the gravelly voice kind of tells you who it is. It's a really iconic voice that we've heard before, and like probably like the best villain in all like the Marvel shows I've ever seen, like the single best villain that there's been. So I really hope it's him, because he's one of the best actors that there is and that they have. And unfortunately, there's only like 3 episodes left. So yeah, he better stick around for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. That's who I'm alluding
to. In case you don't
know.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like we're all following along, but I'm like, someone out there is like, I don't know who you're getting. Yeah. That's what's happening. Yeah, Kingpin. I landed there as well. I heard the voice, having watched the Daredevil show and really, really liked it. I was like, hello? Yeah.
So yeah, same. What I don't want to happen is, like you guys, I'm hoping this is Kingpin and this is Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. I don't want us to get Ralph Bonard again.
Oh no, no.
The signs are obvious, right? Do you guys know that the hotel that her mom went to they went to episode 1 or 2 is the
Where the party
same
was.
whatever that function was that they went
Right.
to. Like she went out to like
Mhm.
that's the same hotel that Kingpin bought in season 2 maybe of Daredevil. It's where he hid. Or so it's the exact same hotel, and somebody already pointed that out, and I'm like, yeah, that's I'm really scared of a Ralph Boner now. So
Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh,
until
no.
they explicitly say his name and like this is Kingpin, like I'm not gonna trust it.
the other thing I'm afraid of is Kingpin, but it's not Vincent D'Onofrio. It's gonna be somebody else. Like I really want it. Yeah, like Alex already mentioned it. It's top 2, top 3 villain in like the entire MCU.
Yeah.
He's very fleshed out. Kingpin. You don't need to like wonder what his motivations are. So yeah. So final thoughts of the episode.
Bring on Kingpin. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 6-episode season. We're halfway through now, so
Yeah.
it's only gonna get crazier and kick off further from here. I'm excited. That's it. I feel like also because it's episode 3 and they're like, here's Jack with the sword. It's not Jack. Jack is doing something else. That's a fake out for sure. I don't know. He's not like the bad. He's doing maybe something bad, but he's not the bad. There's more. There's more happening there. Is my theory there. So
yeah, same. Loving the episode so far. I didn't think I'd like it as much as I thought I would. So yeah, it's going great. So that is it for our episode 3 recap. Once again, if you are new here and liking the content, please give us a like, subscribe, do all that YouTube things. Once again, I'm joined by Michelle and Alex, and we shall see you for episode 4, the appearance of Kingpin. Maybe. Bye.